All right, team. Happy Monday. Holy smokes. Is it Monday? Is this thing on? Here we are. Well, I wish I had better news for you. But Chairman Powell today was speaking he was basically just taking some questions at like this conference. And he said a couple things that hurt the market significantly. This won't be a long video, but I do have a couple cool links for you. Definitely some interesting things going on. You know what I'll include today? This mortgage inquiry link. I get this question all the time. A mortgage inquiry is hurting my credit score. You can hear it from the horse's mouth. You don't have to take my word for it. You can check out this link. This is directly from experience from 2019, by the way. So this has been going on for a long time. There's no harm in pulling your credit for a mortgage. But I'll let you read that if you want to check it out. So Powell says, inflation is much too high. Now, come on, you stinking jabroni. Why say that? Doesn't everyone already know that? No! It's amazing to me that this is an unelected bureaucrat who just, every time they speak, the whole market moves. It's crazy. Actually, let me show you how bad it is first, just so you know that I'm not blowing smoke. It's real. It's real. Our support is gone. 100 is next. Probably hit 100 tomorrow. Fortunately, for one of my clients, because I still don't have the paperwork for them, we went ahead and locked their rate, sans contract. As long as you know the address, you can lock. But once you lock it, the clock is ticking, and you got to get everything in pretty soon. So we were able to lock them early today before things got really bad, like up in here. And thank goodness, because, things got worse. I won't pull rates today. We'll probably do that tomorrow or the next day. We just got to see how this pans out. But the market's not happy right now. And I thought we had some decent support building up here. Maybe we at least, we held this line here. We blew through all of that today, created a new low. Today, right now, we have the highest mortgage rates we've seen in about 3 years. So that's where we're at. And I hate to beat a dead horse because that's not my thing.
Check, please.
But it's going to get worse. It is going to get worse. Actually, recorded another TV segment. I'm going to be on One America News tonight around 6:10 or so about inflation. And so you can hear my thoughts on that there if you want to, but you've heard it here a million times before. We know what's going on. We know what's happening. This is like one of the hardest. It's like if you knew that there was going to be a car crash, but you just couldn't do anything about it. That's what's happening. So Powell says inflation much too high and the Fed will take necessary steps. He even talked about bumping up 50 basis points instead of 25, whatever is needed. We'll take the necessary steps. The necessary steps were a year ago, fool. That's when you should have been taking necessary steps. Now, all you're doing is putting fuel onto the fire, which is a bond sell-off. Remember, I warned you of a bond market collapse. It's happening. Here, let's zoom out so you can see a little bit better, because I know I look at the zoomed out charts, but I don't think anyone else does. Show me another graph like that. Here, let me get myself out of the way. Show me another graph like that you're aware of. I'll show you a market that has crashed. Sorry, I was in the way of the chart. My bad. I do that all the time because I'm just a high school production here, one-man band. There's the zoomed out version. So what does that look like to you? It's not good. Let's zoom in since I was apparently covering it up again. All right. Zooming in a little bit here, and you can see a little bit better. All right, this is where we are. Today's candle essentially is right here. It just busted through all this support. It's all gone. We have no support. We're in no man's land. The only thing we have now is a lot of resistance to move higher. And we have a situation where inflation is admittedly out of control. And this is the reason why the bond market sells off, because bonds don't like inflation. Now you have the Fed chairman saying inflation is much too high. Not just too high, it's much too high. The Fed will take necessary steps. I'm really shocked that we didn't see more of a stock market sell-off. That kind of tells you that the stock market really is trying to go higher here. Even though it's red across the board, this should have been a bloodbath, really. But, it's been tempered by that. Oil back up to 113. Okay, this is the point right here where I believe oil will probably make its way back down. It may not. Anything could happen with oil, but this is a point where I believe there's some resistance for a continuance down. If it's the case that we are in sort of this path or on these tracks toward a global recession. Derrick Evans here, NMLS 155010. Give me a call, shoot me a text if you want to buy a refi. You can email me. My information's on the screen. It's in the description, et cetera, et cetera. We'll be doing specific rate quotes as well. Submit your scenario. We'll do this either tomorrow or the next day. You email me, text me. Just need loan amount, purchase price, home value, credit score, and whether it's condo or detached. Submit me that information. I'll get you a custom quote. Let you know how rates look for you. No points, no lender fees, none of that stuff. All right. So basically, Jerome Powell came out today and just said, you know what? Load it up. Let me just blow everyone's head off. And I think he's doing this not with the understanding of how powerful his words are. I don't think he meant anything by it, but just not understanding. He's trying to say, hey, listen, we're going to fix it. I mean, that's how I read it. If we're just reading it from a standpoint of someone who is trying to do their best, just read it like this. Hey, inflation's too high. He's right. It's true. Market doesn't like to hear it, but it's true. We all know that. And the Fed will take the necessary steps. Great. The Fed will take the necessary steps. I mean, terrific. Should be good news, right? But no, what it means is inflation is much too bad, much worse than we thought. And we may have to do some extreme tightening. Tightening we've been talking about ain't nothing. So it does, makes people pucker up a little bit. Speaking of, a couple things here. So Russian bond yields spike as trading resumes after a month-long pause. Imagine a market just closing for a month. Imagine if the stock market closed for a month because it was getting murdered so badly. The first day it opened up, how would that look? Not pretty. That's what's going on in Russia right now. Goldman Sachs, of course Goldman Sachs, and Galaxy Digital, they announced a milestone over-the-counter crypto trade. So basically, Goldman is the first major U.S. bank to trade crypto over-the-counter. The bank traded a Bitcoin-linked instrument called non-deliverable option with crypto merchant bank Galaxy Digital, the firm said. So basically, Goldman, as a Wall Street firm, purchased Bitcoin options, and it's a non-deliverable option. So basically, it's just a trading instrument. Here's what I would love to know is, and I think it's interesting that they go through all this without saying, are they long or are they short? Who else wants to know the big question? Is Goldman long or short then? Was it a call or a put? Somebody, say something. Say something. That's what we really need to know. Are they longing it? Or are they shorting it? So they're saying that this move is seen as a notable step development of crypto markets for institutional investors. Who is first is very, very important here, and that is the reason why the SEC, don't believe anything else you've heard. The reason the SEC has not brought regulatory clarity around this issue is because there's a lot of jockeying for a position. And I wonder if Goldman has asked for permission on this or if they're just planning on asking for forgiveness, because this seems like a big step to make big announcements and stuff without a lot of guidance ahead of time. So the quote from the Galaxy co-president said, "This trade represents the first step that banks have taken to offer direct, customizable exposures to the crypto market on behalf of their clients." Very, very interesting development there in the crypto world. Here's one. Bookmark this one. Someone from rent.com actually watched the show and sent this to me. So they're like, hey, you want information on rents? Here you go. How about a graph that you can plot over the entire country? Not only that, so it's rent.com/research/average-rent-price-report. That's what it is. Or you could probably just Do like rent.com average rent price report. That'd probably pull it up on Google, but I'm going to give you the link in my description. And you can go on here and you can see state by state. It also gives you some city information, which is really interesting. These are the places that have, the highest rent increases. These are the places that have the highest rent decreases. Look at Kansas City, Missouri for one bedrooms. 20% decrease in rent for one bedrooms. Really interesting there. Two bedrooms. This is where San Diego gets on the map, but not on the decrease side, on the increase side. 2-bedroom increase, 34.3% increase in 2-bedroom rentals in San Diego. 34.3%. And again, Kansas City making number one on the top decline list for rentals, which is so interesting to me. Kansas City, probably, I really can't prognosticate what that might be for, but I can tell you that Kansas City is a market that has been up and coming since I was a kid. And I'm familiar with what it looked like 30 years ago, and I'm familiar with what it looks like as of a few years ago. And they've made major transformations there that are all positive. So I can't understand that one bit. But I can tell you San Diego, 34%, according to rent.com, right? Not official, just based on what they've seen on their site. So this is their data, and that's why I like it. It's like they're telling you, hey, this is what we see. We don't know what's going on out there exactly everywhere, but this is what we see. We have actual information and data to support this. So, that tells you something. And this is something that we're going to be talking about a lot. I've given you my prediction for rent. This is going to be the highest increase in rent year over year this year over last year in the history. That's my guess. Rents are about to explode higher. And they already are. But if you think they went up a lot last year, wait till you see this year. As many buyers get sidelined from rising rates, and there's still no inventory. What are those buyers going to do? They're going to rent. This is also why you're seeing an explosion in Airbnbs and so forth. People that I know who have, in fact, my buddy was that Friday, was saying the same thing. He has an Airbnb. He has a couple actually. But he was saying, yeah, it's booked out for forever. And there's nothing really crazy. It's like a 1-bedroom in downtown, so you have to do monthly rentals. You got it booked out for several months, 4, 5, or 6 months, I think, in a row from here. That's pretty wild. But those are living situations in which people don't have to qualify for anything. There's no competition. There's no application. You just pay the money. It's cash living business. So that Airbnb is also probably going to be inflated through this process as people are trying to figure out where to land. If they can't buy because inventory is too low, rates have gone up too much, they may go to Airbnb, especially if renting looks like it's going to be daunting. So we're going to keep a very close eye on this. Bookmark this page, though. There's tons of good information on here. Take that with the wheel. Bitcoin is still kind of in the middle of this range here. We're expecting it to either reject there, support here. This is kind of where its next steps are, I believe. Always hoping higher, but you never know. So we're right in the middle of this range. Not a whole lot going on there. Not a whole lot to talk about. But obviously today the Fed was the big issue. Inflation is much too high. They will take necessary steps, and then this is what happened. So I'm going to kind of go through this because I know I was in the way earlier for anyone who's like, I really wanted to know what he was talking about. So what we've been saying is basically hold the line. Hold the line here. We got a good candle. We have a couple days here moving in the right direction, and then a gap down, just dream crushing Monday, which takes us below that support, takes us below this previous close. Takes us underneath this little bitty rebound that we were trying to formate. And remember, we weren't overly optimistic. We think, hey, look, we could get to 102. That's like tops. It'd be nice to even see just come in here and just bounce off of this resistance level to 50% Fibonacci retracement. But no such strength is there, my friends. And so rates are worse. They're worse today, much worse than they were on Friday. And I hope we see something change tomorrow, but I'm not very optimistic about it. Oh my gosh, am I in the way again? Such an idiot. I hate myself sometimes. No! So here's the deal. We have been basically bonds have been getting sold off for so many consecutive days, it's crazy. We get a couple day rally here, and we start talking about, okay, where can we see a rally to? Where's the day to get locked in? We were hoping for that day to come. We were hoping for a couple more candles. Maybe we come up here and touch this. That was going to be like a great lock day. Maybe have some relocks in there. No, just immediate plummet. Now, unfortunately, this final leg of support here is going to become resistance unless we can gap up, open up higher tomorrow. I don't see any reason why that would be the case. I don't see any information coming in tonight that's going to make a big difference there. So most likely, that's not what's going to happen. Most likely, we are going to head lower. It's just where it is. It's where we're at. All right, team. I screwed this one up enough. If you want to submit your scenario, get a direct quote. It's the problem with it's what happens when you don't prep and you just do these things on the fly. Busy Monday, guys. You can email me, text me, loan amount, purchase price, home value, or home value. Purchase price or home value, whether it's a purchase or refi. Your credit score, whether it's a condo, detached, and I'll get you a specific quote just for you, with no fees, no points, just wholesale mortgage rates. And in the meantime, let us pray, seriously, for some sort of positive news as it relates to inflation, because we're going to need it. The next couple reports, the people who I know who know more than me are saying that the next couple inflation reports are going to be progressively worse than previous, which means all these numbers we're talking about, how much of that is priced in, you never know. You never know. Maybe that's the reason we're having such a bad run. Maybe that's already priced in. Maybe we won't see a huge sell-off. Maybe it'll hang on. You never know. Let's try to stay optimistic. But let's also be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with our buyers. Let's be honest with our friends. I had 2 different people today tell me they got mailers in the mail from mortgage companies saying they could get 2.75%. It's just absolute lies.
All we want to do is pump you up.
Why would you do that? What's the point of that? I just don't get it. But nonetheless, there are a lot of companies out there who are in desperation mode. Let's call it what it is. And clearly, some of them are willing to lie in order to get you to pick up the phone. So be careful out there, guys. Okay? When you shop for a home loan here today, you got to be careful. Fortunately, in these 2 instances we're talking about today, those gentlemen both reached out to me and said, hey, I trust you. I want to hear from you. Is this legit? And absolutely it's not. But there's no way to know that for most people. So pass the word along. All right, guys? Have a terrific day. I hope that's helpful, and I will be in touch soon. Take care.